Chevra, good morning. We're learning the month of Kislev. Leilui Nishmas Levi ben Yosef for the refuah of Shoshana Yona bas Edel and Hila bat Ilana, for the Leilui Nishmas bas Yefega bas Yisrael, for the refuah Shnei David Netanel ben Ayala Ahuva, Tzvi David ben Tamar Malya, Ori Chaim ben Merav, Achia ben Yael Chaya, Tov Shmuel ben Avi Anava, and also by sponsored by the Hirschkowitzes, Leilui Nishmas Raziel's Saba Shlomo Leib ben Rafael Gedalia, by the Gantavniks in honor of Ilyana's Bat Mitzvah and their anniversary. This week is sponsored anonymously for the Limud Torah this week and by Lisa Bloomberg in honor of Ike's birthday. Baruch Hashem. To many, many more sponsorships. To many more sponsorships. Okay, let's go right to it today. What we're going to be seeing is, like I wrote yesterday in the message, that today we have a piece from Rav Ginsburgh based on a sicha from the Rebbe on Hanukkah. Now, I know that sometimes when some of these sichas are very, very complicated. They're filled with sodas. I chose something that seems to be very straightforward, that'll help us begin this march towards Hanukkah, the light of Hanukkah. And it's all based, as you see on the top over here, this is based on a sicha that the Rebbe gave in Kislev Tafshin Yud Gimel. So that's Kislev 1954, and Hanukkah Tafshin Yud Gimel, the same year, on a week or two later, on Hanukkah Tafshin Yud Gimel, 1954. And what the sicha is the Rebbe contrasting Chanukah's the Hanukkah of the Menorah and the Beit HaMikdash, the light in the Beit HaMikdash, and the light of Hanukkah that we have today. And there's a lot of comparisons over here that Rav Ginsburgh is going to be pointing out. So I want us to, even though it's a lot of Hebrew here, the Hebrew, this is like, honestly, from all the sichas from Rav Ginsburgh that I've seen, this is probably the easiest Hebrew that I've ever seen. So hopefully this will make it an easier way for us to livloa to swallow it and to chew on, well, first to chew on it and then to swallow it. But Hanukkah is definitely not a yontiv you want to just show up to. Hanukkah you want to show up to with a lot of Torah Sheba'al Peh, with a lot of light, with a lot of Torah already in your kishkas, in your system. So let's go for it. Bein Neirus Chanukah leNeirus shel Mikdash. Chanukah u chag shel chom v'shel or. Chanukah is a yontiv of warmth and of light. HaRebbe mitzayen שנר גשמי הוא תופעה של גשם שמחממים אותו עוד ועוד. So the Rebbe in the sicha that this is based on explained that an actual candle is a phenomenon of, when it says here geshem, it doesn't mean rain. It means something that's completely megusham, meaning something that's completely, No, physical, right, gashmi. That's something that's completely a candle. What's a candle made out of? So this is completely like these world things, physical things, that you warm it up more and more, or it's a situation of wood. You light it up more and more and more, and eventually that thing that's completely physical lights up and burns throughout the whole, it's all surroundings. And Bichlal, he's going to say a commentary, which is very important. Musagei ha'or ve'achom. All concepts of light and of warmth, v'avodas Hashem ha'miyuchedes, hakshura b'hem, all the different aspects of light and warmth and avodas Hashem that has to do with this, tofsim makom nirchav b'toras ha'chasidus. Chasidus bichlal. What is it always speaking about? Like, one time on Lag BaOmer, Rav Weinberger said, I couldn't believe he said this, he said, chevra, you ever get the feeling that you read another sefer, you get another sefer, you keep on looking at all the different sfarim, and you come to the conclusion that everything's saying the same exact thing, more or less? Like all the sfarim are basically just saying the same thing, right? And that's what people feel like sometimes. It's true, because in order to attach yourself to light, you have to you have to go through it from a lot of different angles. But if you could pinpoint it down to one thing, you could say, in Torah Baal Shem Tov, this whole mountain over here came to bring or and chom, light and warmth, to a dark and cold world. Light and warmth to a dark and cold world. The headquarters of this is Hanukkah, unless you're in Australia, because then it's all afuch. In Australia it's summer and long days and full of light. והדבר מתאים למסורת שיש בידינו, this is all stems with our tradition, שלפיה הבעל שם טוב חיבב במיוחד את חג החנוכה. Baal Shem had a very special loving and liking towards Hanukkah. He loved all the yontivs, but by Hanukkah something was happening, something different was taking place. Second paragraph. עצם גילוייה והפצתה של תורס החסידוס קשור לחנוכה. The revelation and spreading of the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov is connected to Hanukkah. השמן שאנו מדליקים מייצג את חלק הסוד שבתורה. The oil that we light represents the aspect of the secrets of the Torah. אותו מבקש את החסידוס לקרב אל כל יהודי ויהודי. That Chassidus wants every Yid to have access to the secrets of it. גם יוטס כסלו. היום בו ניתנה גושפנקה משמיה. You know what גושפנקה משמיה means? Approval from above, like a stamp from above, approval from above, lahafatzas razin d'oraisa, to spread the secrets of the Torah. When does that take place on the calendar? Nimtza betoch ha'hekef shel yemei Chanukah. In halacha, sometimes we have this with different dinim, that if something is 7 weeks before a certain date, it falls under the category of what it will be. Right, of the 7, whatever it falls under. So how many days before Hanukkah is Yites Kislev? 6. So it's under the week. It's in the week of the prep for Hanukkah. Betoch Shiva Samim Shlifnei Achag. It's not stam. There's tons and tons of Mamorim explaining the connection between Yud Kislev and Hanukkah. That was just a reka. But now we're going to go into the contrast between the Beit HaMikdash, the Menorah, and the Chanukah, and Chag HaChanukah. And you already can, in your mind, you can come up with a lot of different distinctions between the two, obviously. Neirus Chanukah novim lichora mitoch neirus HaMikdash. Lichora, what does it seem? That the fact that we have Chanukah candles and we light the Menorah is because of that there was a Menorah in the Beit HaMikdash. That's what it seems like. Bichlal, I think one of the greatest Purim Sudas I ever had. You were there when we lit the Menorah at the Suda. Do you remember this? Yeah. We lit the Menorah at the Purim. We didn't say it with brachas, but we lit the Menorah at the Suda Because we were learning that year that when it says, V'ashkoz bichlei zahav ve'kelim mikelim shonim, that Achashverosh pulled out all the kelim that they stole from the Beit HaMikdash at that Seudah in the beginning of Megillas Esther. So you just imagine, obviously they must have had a menorah there too, and they probably pulled that out at the Seudah. So Hanukkah is all over the place. It's all over, but its origins, the inyan of the menorah, it's not some made-up thing the Maccabim came to and that we continued with. It has to do with the Menorah Samikdash, Lichora. Lichora, it comes from there. Omnam, this is based on the Rebbe's sicha, B'mabat nosaf, looking deeper, Mitgalim benehem kama hevdelim yesodiyim kemeduvar b'divrei haRebbe. There are very big differences between the two. So let's go through some of them. B'mikdash madlikim is kol neiros hamenorah b'chol laila. It was like a Beis Shammai experience, at least for the first night, right? That they would light all the candles of the Menorah every single night. Bilu b'Chanukah, we know, according to Beis Hillel, ner Chanukah, mosif v'holech. Bilu b'Chanukah mosifim ner b'chol laila, u'me'ikar hadin dai b'ner echad. So we start off with one, we added by one, but if you only have one, me'ikar hadin, it seems to be that the poskim say that's enough to be yotzei the mitzvah. That's one difference. Starting off full, not even going down, always full. By the way we light the menorah, it's not like that. Mikdash ora shel menorah mudlak mi be'od yom. When do you light the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash? Not mishetechshach, not the way that we do it, but while it's still complete daylight. Be'ilu b'Chanukah mishetechshach. Chanukah, we know when we light it, later in the day, as it's about to become dark. Now this is another interesting difference. B'Mikdash meir ha'or b'toch habayit, v'ilu b'Chanukah dafka al pitcha. Where do you light? Where was the menorah situated in the Beit HaMikdash? So we learned this a little bit last year towards the end of Tikkun HaMedina, or in the middle of Tikkun HaMedina. We had a few shiurim on the actual location of the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash, and which light. Do you remember this? Mm-hmm. Like the tzura of the menorah as well. He's going to explain this. What's the difference over here? Where do we light our menorahs? Pesach habayis, outside. Has to go to the outside, or it should be, if you could do it, mamash on the outside. But in the Beit HaMikdash, it wasn't on the outside where people would see everything. The light would reach people, but in a different way. But more than that, there's one more fundamental difference between the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash and Hanukkah. What?
The number of stems.
Menorah HaMikdash, he's going to say that also. Menorah HaMikdash meyatzeget tkufa shel zohar b'chayei Am Yisrael. Tkufa shel shleimus b'kesher ben Hashem Yisborach la'amo. Right? The menorah in the Beit HaMikdash represents a period of prosperity and shine in the light of Am Yisrael, a period of shleimus, of total completion regarding Hashem and His people. As Chazal said, Eidus hu l'chol ba'ei olam, sha'ashchina shora be'Yisrael. The menorah represented this thing where it was clear to everyone that the Shechinah is in Am Yisrael. Le'umata nolda Chanukah dafka mitoch ha'milchama ala nefesh ha'yehudis. As opposed to that, the Chanukah was born dafka from a place of war on the Jewish soul. V'zman be'irasa ruboy kechuloi huzman shel choshech. Cheshkas ha'galus ha'neirah she'adayin lo tama. And the time of its burning, most of it, is a time of darkness. Cheshkas ha'galus ha'neirah she'adayin lo tama. The darkness of galus that still hasn't ended. V'nireh she'ahevdel hazeh, bottom paragraph, it's this last distinct difference. Hu ha'oimed b'yesod kol shar ha'evdelim. This is really what makes the difference. V'hu gam anoisen lahem es psharam. Ner Chanukah hu ner shel mesirus nefesh. Al pi hateva, kshetov begashmius, tov gam baruchnius. V'lahefech chas v'shon. Naturally, based on nature. So Rav Ginsburgh is saying, by the name of the Rebbe, that when things are good in Gashmius, it's good in Ruchnius too, And also the other way around, chas v'shalom. When things are not so shvach, when things are not so good, and they're pretty shvach in Gashmius, Ruchnius is also pretty bad. Lo kach kara b'menorah shenotnu lanu es hamitzvah chaviva hazo. That's not what happened during the story of Hanukkah. Bahem nizgala shedavka kshera begashmius, because in the time of the story of Hanukkah, what was revealed is that dafka, when things are bad in Gashmius, mizgale tov ruchani elyon beyoter, the high supreme spiritual good becomes revealed. Mima'amokim ka'elu shebizman shel tova v'nachas ein anu zochim le'agia adehem. What do you, chevra, outside the text, I want to emphasize this last nekuda. When do you feel a geschmack to daven?
You're broken.
When did that happen?
All the time.
No, it's not in you now to be funny and depressing.
People who are,
I'm trying to, based on what we just learned, everything we just learned right now. When would you naturally, al piteva, have a geschmack to daven, have a cheshik? When things are good.
things are great.
But you're also right.
But great, but it's different.
Al piteva. But what you said is also correct. Why? Because it's true that we know that there's a geschmack to daven when you're so broken. And that sometimes, those tefillas pierce shamayim v'aretz. Mamish. Where did that come from? Hanukkah. That was a chiddush in Hanukkah. Something shifted from the story of Hanukkah, that there's a geschmack to daven and to cry and have a hitorerut ruchanit, a spiritual awakening, dafka from brokenness, which doesn't add up al pi teva. This now, of course, in our day and age, when do we feel the highest davenings come about? Hanukkah or Beit HaMikdash? You understand? If Beit HaMikdash represents when things, it's all good, Shechinah Shirat David, it's all beautiful. In today's day and age, when do we have more of a geshma? When do we feel like, wow, tzama l'cha nafshi, and that our davening is on fire? When does it is it a result of the reality of what the Beit HaMikdash was like, or Hanukkah? Hanukkah. It seems like such a simple thing, but you have to realize that it's al pi teva. It shouldn't work like that. Al pi teva is the opposite. So what we're seeing over here so far, and that's why he says over here that this is the yesod of the difference between Hanukkah and the Beit HaMikdash, is that the Menorah that was lit in the Beit HaMikdash was like, it's all good, hakol sababa. Let's bring light to the world. Hanukkah it's not good. Things are really bad. Things are about to be destroyed. And somehow I have a yisraelus in me. Wow, I want to bring more light now, more than ever. I want to cry out to it. So therefore, what's our yontiv of this door? Beit HaMikdash or Hanukkah? It's Hanukkah. It's Hanukkah. Is that distinction clearer now?
But we shouldn't forget about the Beit HaMikdash.
Asur.
No, but I'm saying, when things are good, it should be kochi b'otzim radis.
Avadai, but that becomes even a bigger struggle.
Right.
100%. That becomes even a bigger struggle, and we speak about that a lot. Nachon. You're not supposed to lean only on Hanukkah light to get you going. You have to also look into the clear picture of, we're sitting here this morning in Efrat, a bunch of chevra that apparently don't have to work, and sitting around a table, and we're sitting and learning Chassidus like this is davar normali. Ze lo normali, guys. This doesn't add up, doesn't make any sense. But it's a great geschmack thing. This is more like a Beit HaMikdash vibe, right? What would be a Hanukkah vibe if one person here showed up to night Seder? Or if we had more than 11 people for Mincha Maariv one day. I'm allowed to give you guys some shtachs, it's okay.
Chazaka, let's go.
Huh?
Another one, let's go.
Oh, I could, you know me, I could keep on going. But on that note, it would be nice to see more chevra at Mincha Maariv. I'm being serious. It's great to have 500 people on a Friday night, but 12 at Mincha Maariv, not so much. So try to, and if we didn't have the koil here, there'd be no minyanim. So it's your shul, come here for Mincha Maariv, at least that. Amen.
Amen.
Yalla, weiter. Wait, someone had their hand up. Yosef? Oh no, Raziel.
The whole idea of it being physically bad but spiritually good is emblematic of the whole idea that they physically had a little bit of oil and yet the light just bloomed.
Nachon?
So
Nachon meod. Nachon. So now turn the page. This is very powerful stuff what he's going to say over here. Nekudas pnimius haneshama hayehudis ha'eitan shebaneshama. This inner point of the Yiddish soul, which is called the eitan. Eitan means strong. The strength of the neshama mitoleret rak kasher hi nidreshes be'emes. You know when it wakes up? Only when it's really needed. This nekuda pnimis of our souls wakes up usually only when it's really needed. Kshechisaron zoek me'orer ota. When something that's lacking is screaming and it wakes it up. We speak about this all the time. How gewalt would it be if the eitan shebaneshama would wake up from just saying, Marabu Masecha Hashem, it's all gewalt. It doesn't work like that. The eitan shebaneshama only wakes up when it's ay. Then that thing wakes up. Like, think about it. Do you guys remember the vibe in Cheshvan, Tafshin Pei Dalet in this country? 2 years ago, Cheshvan, Kislev. Does anyone even remember what it felt like here?
Yes.
I mean, could that have happened? I mean, it's sick to say such a thing, but could, huh?
No.
No what?
It couldn't have happened without it.
It couldn't have happened without it. So he's saying there's an nekuda of eitan shabaneshama, strong. You know who was called Eitan? Avram Avinu, Eitan HaEzrachi, it's referred to. There's a reference in the davening Yomim Noraim on this. You remember where? That's Hatam, but there's Eitan. Od yiskor lanu ahavat Eitan Adonenu. And then right afterwards, Uvischus Hatam Yotzir, right. He says over here, this only wakes up when you need it. When it wakes up, it could beat the greatest darkness in the world. But the regular shigra means the routine. The routine does not have the koyach to wake up this place in the neshama. Unfortunately, sometimes certain couples have to be on the brink of divorce in order to wake up this nekuda of eitan shebaneshama shel hayachasim. It's horrible, but we've seen it. That is a reality. It has to be on the brink of something. The other way, the routine does not wake this stuff up. It doesn't wake up this nekuda that we're speaking about. So, someone once asked, if things were so gishmak in the first Beit HaMikdash and there was shalom, like we've never seen before, how could it be that we lost the first Beit HaMikdash? Second Beit HaMikdash is a different story. We already know basic elements that were in the first Beit HaMikdash were not in the second Beit HaMikdash. Elements that would have brought down shalom v'shalva. First Beit HaMikdash, in the time of Shlomo HaMelech, Maya Chaser, what was lacking then? What was lacking in the Beit HaMikdash? What was lacking within the Am? So I would say, it's very hard to understand this. How could it have been destroyed? First Beit HaMikdash. Shechinah is there. So Rav Shlomo once said it like this, and I really am seeing it through here. The Beit HaMikdash stopped breaking our heart. Life and the routine stopped really touching our heart because it was just so there all the time. The Shechinah was there. The Avodah was there. The Levim's Nigunim were there. You'd come bring a korban, the Levi would sing a Nigun, and you'd be like, yeah, that's what happens here. Like, about everything. Yeah, that's what happens here. But there was no choshech that was waking up the nekuda of the eitan shebaneshama. And that's why it's such a danger to get used to anything. Anything. Yeah, Yosef. Didn't you just raise your hand?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Change my mind.
Okay. Interesting. Happy birthday. Menorah Hamikdash hu menorah shel shleimus. Zev, you brought this up. How many branches, how do you call it? Kanim, branches? How many branches were in the menorahs of the Mikdash? 7. Mispar shehu shleimus hateva, the completion of shigra. the 7 days of the week, meaning within the realm of nature, that resembled the completion of it, right? והיא מאירה בכולם כאחד, בהתאמה לתקופסה ולגילוי השכינה ששרר בה, and it was shining and illuminating to everyone in accordance to the period and revelation of Shechinah that it was in. היא מאירה מתוך הבית כלפי חוץ. So it was shining outside, but not because you put it by a window or a doorpost. But the Beit HaMikdash had very interesting windows. כידוע, היו חלונות בית המקדש עשויים בצורה שתקרין את האור הפנימי כלפי חוץ, חלוני שקופים אטומים, הצרים כלפי פנים ורחבים כלפי חוץ. Do they make these kind of windows today?
Yeah, we still have.
Like Anderson does this stuff? I don't know. Do you understand the description here of the type of windows in the Beit HaMikdash? How would you say it, Raziel?
Like that it went inward out instead of outward in. That the light wasn't coming in, the light was going out. So it was designed in a way to illuminate the outside.
Correct.
Like a reverse funnel.
Like a reverse funnel, yeah. Like some mechitzas also, yeah. Like certain mechitzas have the whatever. V'day levekach, and it was enough. It was enough to just be like that. Ha'or gadol de'atzorech, the light was plenty. V'gam bachutz en hachoshech shorer, and it wasn't so dark outside either. Madlikim otami be'od yom. You light the menorah of the Beit HaMikdash during the day. B'vchinas makdim refuah lamaka. Ki kol od oira doilek. Because as long as its light shines, en la laila shlita, the night has no control. Ve'en hachoshech yachol liknot lo shvita b'metzias. And the darkness can't take control. Chevra, how many of you are night people here?
Bad sign, right?
No, it's an interesting thing that most people today are. Not just here. Most people are.
You have to be if you work US hours.
Besides here.
Early hours, yeah, I'm a night person, so go
I was
figure.
up all night for years with all the guys. It sort of got me out of being normal.
I don't think that's what got you out of it. Alavai, that's what got you out of it. But I've asked this question many times. In this door, most people are night people. Like, it's a very interesting thing, because it has to do obviously with how the Rebbe and Rav Ginsburgh built this whole thing up. Stomeret, the Beit HaMikdash is such a hard reality to connect to sometimes, because it means, like, we have to. Our nature is going to be changed, right? That nature of like, no, at night, that deeper. It's all like, each one of us carries our Megillas of trauma, so like that, we're all night people, right? But the Beit HaMikdash wasn't like that. That's not the Metzias of the Beit HaMikdash. We wait for the night because then we feel more in tune with what our own darkness finds like companionship with the reality outside in the world, the physical reality of darkness. And Chassidus comes and says, Dafka, go to there and flip it over. The Beit HaMikdash didn't have to flip it over because it wasn't so dark outside, because you're lighting while it's still daylight. And you're lighting within the confines of like shleimus hateva, 7 branches. Keneged shivas yimei hashavua. Neiros Chanukah, 3rd paragraph, Me'irim mitoch metzuka shalayla shekvar yarad. When do I light the Hanukkah candles? When I see that light that existed during the day wasn't here to stay. Remember this is a Torah we put in Rav Shlomo. It's one of my favorite teachings. We put it in Parshas Chayesara, I think. When was the Yitzchak Lasuach Basada? That's Parshas Chayesara, Mincha. So the story was the Rebbe Rashab was walking with his son, with the Frierdiker Rebbe, the 6th Rebbe, and they were walking around Shkia time. And his father, the Rebbe, the 5th Rebbe, asked the 6th Rebbe, he said to him, do you see what the sun looks like right now? He says, yeah, the sun looks like it gets red, kimat, every day when it starts to set. He says, yeah, do you know why? He says, yeah, because it's embarrassed that its light that it brought today wasn't enough to bring Mashiach, and it wasn't enough to prevent the darkness that's about to come right now. So every single day, the sun itself has a shtickle busha, that its light wasn't enough to keep the light shining forever. It's an unbelievable. Huh?
Never going to look at sunset the same again.
But I never, since I heard that story also, what a story. Just like a two-liner, but it's so chazak. But Hanukkah comes to that story, it says, hey, listen, don't worry. You know why? Because there were Maccabim in the world. There was a concept called Maccabim. And we have to be plugged into that. So Nerus Chanukah meirim mitoch metzuka shel laila shekvar yarad. Hanukkah licht is coming down at a time where, okay, I acknowledge, darkness came. Hachoshech hasamich shebachutz, that thick darkness that's outside, machriach laadlik nerot achirim. It makes me light more lights. She'amdu dafka al petach habayit v'ya'iru klapei chutz. And where am I going to do that? In the opening of my home, so that my home and the outside both simultaneously are gaining from this light. Rak ner echad dolek, ze ma sheyesh. I got one candle. Like we said, halachic leaf, that's all I got, that's all you got. But that's all there is. V'al pi min hageinu, lahadlik ki mehadrin min ha-mehadrin, anu mosifim ner echad b'chol hayla ma'alim b'kodesh, because we know that we always have to add one after another, because ma'alim b'kodesh. The greatest, I've shared this with you, the greatest visualization I ever had of this was always, for many years, I would go up to San Francisco to perform by the Chabad candle lighting by Union Square. Union Square is this massive area in the middle of the I guess it's the finance district in San Francisco. And Rabbi Yosef Langer Shlita, who I miss so much, I try to share this every single year because that's such a hashpah on me. He had this massive candle lighting. It was called the Bill Graham Menorah Festival. If any of you, I could see where you're holding, if any of you, right. I could see who listens to what and who partied where based on what I just said. The Bill Graham, and you guys are so straight or young, I haven't figured it out yet. But the Bill Graham Menorah Festival, Bill Graham was the promoter of the Grateful Dead. And Bill Graham was killed in a helicopter crash. And he was the one that ran Fillmore East, Fillmore West. He was a Yid, obviously, and he got involved, and it's a long story. But there was a massive menorah lighting, and I was on stage, and what they did, I don't know if they would allow this today because of safety hazards, but he gave out thousands of candles into the crowd, and he held a torch. I have to find footage of this. He would hold a torch, and he passed the torch to like 5 people that were around him, meaning they lit with their candles, and then you saw from the stage a sea of people suddenly, but this is pre-smartphone days. So today everyone just turns on their flashlight, but this was like real light, Real light just, boom, and suddenly and San Francisco, not that I'm complaining so much, because you got chevra here from Cleveland, Chicago, New York, but San Francisco was Detroit, sorry. San Francisco was pretty cold for us Los Angelinos. I know, exactly. We were pretty cold.
65 degrees?
It was like 61 degrees, And suddenly the whole place was filled with light. It was such an amazing thing. Started from one candle. When? Cheshkas Laila. It's totally dark by then. Completely back. I told you about the year that Carlos Santana was the guest of honor to light the menorah.
Yeah. So smooth.
Amazing. Mi she'ein lo yoter miner echad, whoever doesn't have more than one candle, boer bo harotzon lehosif ulahalois b'kodesh. It's an amazing thing. You know what Hanukkah brought out? Chazal said it's okay, you have one candle, you're yotze. But a yid that tastes this amazing energy of eitan shebaneshama, of the nekuda pnimis of my heart, and I'm like, I could snap out of this. So what's the natural reaction to like having a taste of getting out of a little bit of your darkness? More and more and more to get out of my darkness. Ma'alim b'kodesh. Another candle. That's where it comes from. That's where this mehadrin comes from. Mitoch toda'a shel chisaron hu muchlach shelo lishkot. From a consciousness and awareness of something that's lacking, I can't be quiet anymore. V'umosif v'holech, and he adds more and more. Ad shebetnufa adira, you keep on adding until you don't even realize, but tnufa, how do you say tnufa in English? Like momentum. Until this amazing momentum comes, hu gam over shleimuta shel Menorah Hamikdash. Before you even realize it, you know what you surpassed? With all your adding? You surpassed the 7, meaning you even went beyond the Beit HaMikdash. You have to realize how monumental this teaching is. With that cheshek to add, when you feel it's dark, but you got a taste of who you could be, you surpass the sheva. You surpass the light of the menorah of the Beit HaMikdash, and you go to shone. You go to me'al teva. This is what Hanukkah brings out of us. Azu migia l'shmone neiros. Then you reach 8 candles. Mispara mesamelet mashe me'al teva. Echad lemala min hakodesh kfi shu mizgale begidrei teva. You went above and beyond nature, and you plugged into 8. Where did it come from? It didn't come from a world of light. It came from what? From Nazis. From all these terrorists here. Somehow that's what drives us to try to be mosif ala kodesh. It doesn't come from Rikudei Am and singing Shirei Eretz Yisrael. It doesn't. It doesn't come from a nice kumsitz. It comes from, Ribono Shel Olam, my heart is burning. I've tried everything and I still feel like I'm in utter darkness. And then you zoche for one moment of a light. And then you take that, what do you say about tnufa? Momentum. And you go with that momentum until you completely surpass all that you thought you were possible. That was possible and in the realm of possibility. כשאנו מתבוננים בנר הראשון ומוצאים אותו קטן ודל, we look at that first candle standing on its own. It's nice, it's cute, but it's alone. It's not such a geschmack. Haner haboded, that lonely candle, hu garin. It's a seed. שמתוך חסרונו ניתנות לו כנפיים. This is so beautiful, what Rav Ginsburgh is saying over here. From that lacking that lonely candle has, it's given wings. וכבר עכשיו, כשנוטים צללי ערב של שקיע סחמה, as, what's it called? צלילי ערב שקיע סחמה, meaning night's falling and it's starting to get dark. אפשר לראות בו את הבוקר שיפציע עלינו במהרה בגאולה שלמה. You could already see the morning that's about to come upon us with the great geula, with the complete geula. And here, of course, Rav Ginsburgh, Keher Gelo B'Kodesh says, and that's why Ner Chanukah is the gematria of Vahi Boiker. I love that sometimes when he does this, so he'll talk like this, for like 3.5 hours, right? With a very serious face. And then he knows where he knows what he's going to say in 3.5 hours, right? But you're never sure. So then he'll basically look up and he'll be like, Ner Chanukah, Gematria Vayhi Boker, right? It's like everything he said suddenly shows up in a Gematria. Ner Chanukah equals Vayhi Boker. Ra'a Kadosh Baruch Hu shetzadiki mu'atin amad v'shatlan b'chol dar v'dar. We learn this by the Rashi's beginning of Bereishis. He's talking about light. The Aragon, as Hashem saw, there weren't going to be so many tzaddikim, so He planted them in each and every generation. Come on, neiros HaChanukah, like the Hanukkah candles, gamat tzaddikim hem neiros leha'ir. They're also, tzaddikim are here to shine. Chasidim mesaprim she'Abal Shem Tov haya holech berchov kodem shenitparsem ba'olam. Before his hit album hit the rack, right? Before. So what year was that? Must have been 1734 is when the Baal Shem Tov appears. And so whatever, 1720s, early 1730s. So he comes out and he would go out into the world. He would go out into the street. K'shaya pogesh yeled Yehudi, when he'd meet a Yiddish kind. Haya meniach et yado al libo. He would put his hand on his heart. Umevarech also. The Baal Shem would put his hand on the kid's heart and bless him. Shetiye Yehudi cham. You should be a varmkeit yidla. You should have varmkeit. You should have warmth. Yehudi cham oile Chanukah. Chanukah is the gematria of the word, of the two words Yehudi Cham, to have this warmth. Nishtadel litbonen od ba'avodas Hashem shel hachom va'or. As we go along, this was like 2 pages out of like 65 pages of one night of Torah that Rav Ginsburgh gave a few years ago. But he says this is the beginning of looking deeper in avodas Hashem regarding warmth, light, in order to what? Kedei lahafnim ota, to internalize it. Velakachat mimena la'avodaseinu b'foel mamish. And to take it for our avodah b'foel mamish b'darko shel Baal Shem Tov. So that we could say, yeah, we really are following the path of the Baal Shem Tov. U'chsheyafutzu ma'inotav chutza el toch libeinu. And when his wellsprings spread out into our hearts, niske lebias malka meshicha b'meira b'yameinu. Amen. Just come to mincha today. Just start with that. Just start with that, and everything else will flow. I love you guys. Have a good day, and a geula dika week.